I think another point that people might take away from that, I mean, you mentioned that that's a cascade, for instance.
Yes.
And some people might interpret that as implying a batch and queue approach, that you have to do all of the product backlog on the left before you start doing all of the release backlog and subsequently. And I understand what you're saying is that they're all running in parallel.
They're all running in parallel. It's a continuous flow activity.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's crucial too.
Yeah, that is crucial. Thank you for bringing that point up. But I'm not done. I have some more things I want to give. I hope that that was of some value to you. Let's go on to the second topic. Now this is a little faster, a little simpler, but let's come back to the theme that we were talking about a little bit earlier, this notion of rhythm and feedback, and this notion of nested cycles. In the Agile and Lean community, we talk a lot about rhythm, because rhythm is how we get sustainability. Every runner knows that in order to do a long-distance race, you have to fall into the zone. You have to fall into a rhythm. Rhythm is what sustains you over the distance of the marathon, over those 23 miles or so. And the notion of sprinting or making a move, that's the exception to the matter. And then as soon as you make your move and you get ahead of the guy in front of you, you have to settle back down into a new rhythm, perhaps at a higher level. But rhythm is about sustainability. We understand that naturally. And feedback is about fidelity. In the same way that we think about the difference between a dumb missile and a smart missile is the guidance system. And the key concept behind a guidance system is the notion of feedback loops. You have a radar or laser rangefinder that acquires the target, calculates a minor course correction from the way that it was flying, does an adjustment, and then immediately reacquires the target, recalculates the course correction, and is constantly, hundreds of times a second, making course corrections, and that's how it hits the target, with 5 nines of accuracy. Without it, you have just a dumb missile that you're lucky if you hit in the same county. We understand that. That's why we do it. Feedback is for fidelity. It's to make sure we are actually solving the problem. In the Agile world, we say the following: your job is not to satisfy the requirements. Because requirements are a poor approximation of need. Your job is to satisfy the need. No customer ever cares what they signed off on. They care, did you satisfy their need? I built exactly what you asked me to build. It's right here. You signed it at the bottom. I don't care. It's not what I wanted. Now that I see it, it's not what I wanted. It's not what I need. Our job is to satisfy need. The feedback loops are all about trying to make sure that we're constantly measuring the distance to need. That's why we demo so frequently. That's why we bring things to closure so frequently. But in those two different things of rhythm and feedback, we also find the absolute core of what it means to do Agile risk management. Because at each one of these layers, we're doing a set of risk management and risk identification tasks. In the daily stand-up meetings, there's the classical 3 questions. What did I do in the last 24 hours? That's a tracking question. What do I plan to do in the next 24 hours? That's a task allocation question. And the third question, what is standing in my way, is a risk identification question. Every day, we try to identify risks. We try to identify the impediments that are keeping us from making progress. Each iteration, we do an iteration report card. We tell, where are we? What is our progress to goal? Are we still on track to make our deadlines? What is standing in our way at that level? We do iteration retrospectives, which are process improvement. Both of those things are risk management and risk identification tasks. We do the same thing at release level, doing release level report cards, doing release retrospectives. And so this is actually the exact same hierarchy we use for Agile risk management under this philosophy. Catch the risks when they're little and they'll never grow up to be big issues. We're constantly sieving those things. One of the Agile aphorisms, one of our hundreds of aphorisms, is let no risk go unaddressed for longer than 24 hours. Catch them early. And so that's a part of what we do when we do risk management, is we try to set up and use these exact same cycles. We don't innovate a new process. We have it ride the same carrier wave. We try to have it ride the same process that our plan execution is running, that our analysis is running. They all run on the same set of nested cycles, the same rhythms, and the same feedback cycles, and so does our risk management.